Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com.
Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. With me, as always, is the inventor of the infomercial and the original shark on the hit TV series Shark Tank, Kevin Harrington. Kevin, thanks so much for being here.
Hey, Seth, great to be here. Great topic, franchising we're going to be talking about today. I'm super excited.
Absolutely. Our special guest is none other than Kim Daly, one of America's top franchise consultants, an author, a thought leader, and franchising authority. So whether you want to escape the corporate rat race and own a proven business model, whether you're an investor who wants to add more cash flowing businesses to your portfolio, or whether you already own a franchise and you want to grow your bottom line and your mindset, you're in the right place. Kim, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for the introduction.
Let's go back in time a little bit. I'm sure when you were 8 or 9 years old, you probably weren't dreaming about the franchise business. So how does one become the queen of franchising in America?
It's a great question. The question we always ask each other is, how did franchising find you? It's basically what you're asking me. My story is great for all those out there who feel insecure, like I'm not qualified to own a franchise. I've never owned a business before. I don't have an MBA. Neither did I. And franchising completely changed my life. So I was a nutritional biochemist with a minor in sports nutrition and a personal training certification on my way to medical school. I answered a classified ad in the newspaper, which gives away my age. And it was for a franchise company, and it completely changed my life. I did what everybody does when they first get excited about owning a business, especially when you think about franchising. You think, why do I need a franchise? I'm going to go be an entrepreneur. So I went and I became an entrepreneur, Seth, for 5 years, only to realize entrepreneurship is incredibly lonely. It's really hard. It takes a lot of money and a lot of skill. And if you don't have an MBA and you don't have a prior business ownership experience, it is really tough. After 5 years, I came back to my franchising roots. I found FranChoice, the company that I've been a part of for 22 years. And long story short, I have made history in my franchise. I am one of America's top franchise consultants. I built the largest franchise consulting business that had ever been built back in 2011. And I've been mastering that and sharing what I do with other consultants and other franchisees. So I'm very passionate that if you are ready to change your life, I can show you how, leveraging the proven systems of a franchise.
Awesome. Hey, a quick question on your skill set in terms of what you do. So do you help I hear what you're saying about you helping the individual choose a franchise. Do you also help a company that wants to become a franchise do that? Or is that something, do you only work with existing franchise companies?
So correct, Kevin. My role is on the franchisee side. So helping people say yes to already established franchise businesses. And in reality, you really just need a a franchise attorney to turn your business into a franchise. The reality is, if you came to me and said, I have a business and I'm ready to franchise it, I'd probably talk you out of it.
Now you got to tell us why.
Because being a franchisor is an incredibly difficult business to be in. If people see the royalties and think, well, I want that business. And I'm like, really? Because think about it. Royalties are not meaningful at 6 or 7 or 8% average royalty until you have hundreds of franchisees with significant size businesses. So that means you have hundreds of people whose life savings is invested in you. And I'm a mom, and I'm going to tell you, it's like being a parent. You can do everything right and get no credit for it. But when it's all going wrong, it's your fault.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's so
It
true.
depends on what your goals are. You need really deep pockets to be a franchisor. I have a friend that just flipped his personal training studio to a franchise. He's $8 million in, and he told me this is his third year as a franchise. He said we should be cash flow even on royalty by this year, but he has $8 million invested in the business to get to that point. So,
Yeah. Got
What
it.
are some of the biggest mistakes that people are making when it comes to trying to evaluate whether they should buy a franchise and which one they should buy?
it's a great question. So, a lot of times, Seth, people think about when they think about a franchise, they think about the franchise they love to go in, right? And they think it's only food and retail. I should start there. So, I am not going to bring you food and or retail. There are easier, faster, better ways to make money than food and retail. So then you have people like, what else is out there besides food and retail? Because that's what everybody thinks of when they think franchising. But truly wealthy people are not building food businesses. They love boring businesses. They love highly fragmented industries. They love mom and pop dominated industries where we can come in and bring technology and sophistication and proven processes that deliver better customer service, and you can crush. So the home services space, there's so many other industries. So going back to your question though, what most people do is they think about what they love and I want to own that, or what they know. Like I love to work out, so maybe I should own the gym. No. So the business is the vehicle driving an outcome. When you come to me, I don't want us to go right to what the business is. I want to know, what are your goals? What do you want this business to do for you personally, professionally, and financially? I have never met an investor who was upset by investing in a business that gave them money and time. They fall in love with whatever that business is. When you're making the kind of money you want and that drives the freedom and flexibility and quality of life that you're dreaming of, the reality is you fall in love with whatever that business is that affords that. But if you start from the widget and you don't consider who the caliber of the franchisor or the scale to which you could build it or the skill set that you have to bring every day to that business in order for it to be successful, you're backing yourself into a dead end that you might really regret.
And so when you're working with a franchise company, how many units do you like them to have before you figure that they've reached a stability point and they know how to really select the right people and they're worth doing business with?
Oh, that's a phenomenal question. So this is the whole reason you use a consultant like Kim Daly, Kevin. So,
Yes.
That's because I have 22 years of relationship and knowledge and understanding of what a good A-plus franchisor looks like. So there's thousands of options out there. And if you turn to Entrepreneur Top 500 or you start Googling franchises, you have no idea of the caliber of the people, what they've done in the past to get to this point. Are they properly capitalized to continue to grow? Because to your question, the stabilizing point of a franchise is 100 units. Now, here's a startling statistic. 99%. Wait, what'd you say?
That's a lot. That is 100 units. That's good.
If the franchisor is using a consultant group like FranChoice, we will help them get to 100 units, maybe in less than a year. That's 30 people who all move forward with 3 units. So if you know how to carefully build and attract the right types of investors, it's easy. But if you don't know what you're doing and you're selling onesies and attracting the wrong people, you're going to get in a trap. So before 100 units, 99% of businesses that are franchises fail. So that's a statistic that's worth knowing. But the vast majority of companies that I work with, we will help them, even if they're brand new, they're backed by people that have built and supported other franchise systems. So we're acquiring leadership. Maybe they helped grow Supercuts or Great Clips or Orange Theory Fitness or Massage Envy. And now they're coming to this pioneering brand that they see potential in, that idea for it to go on to become the next big American brand. But they know how to coach and mentor that franchisor to grow into the next American brand. And they may also bring private equity money that is the glue that kind of helps it go. So as consultants, we know what we're looking for. So when people say, but am I limited with you, Kim? I say, no, you can bring any idea that you want to the table. What we're going to hold that franchisor to the same standard that I bring you, because I'm going to show you what an A+ franchisor looks like, feels like, sounds, and can offer you. And then if you still pick that other franchisor, that's on you.
Yeah. Okay.
Your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
I love helping people change their life. Like when I was 15 years old, I told my dad, I want to be a motivational speaker. My parents were in network marketing and they used to take me to the raw meetings. And I'd be like, I want to be the person on stage. Like, how do you do that? So in order to help people, I thought I was going to go on and become a doctor because I was a straight A student. So here I am. It's funny how it all comes together in the end, really doing exactly what I always knew I wanted to do. I think I was born to do this. I love the moment when you take somebody who's traded their time for money for 10, 20, 30 years. They've been an employee of somebody else and they call me and they're just lack of control, right? In order to get the next job, I got to move my kids and my teenagers are in high school and you see the pain on their faces, right? Or they just don't, there's a glass ceiling in corporate America, or there's just limitations to how much money they can make by trading their time for money. And they come to me and I'm able to help change that paradigm to where they really can step into their true creative power. They can own their future by leveraging the proven systems and really get to where they're building and scaling wealth in a very short amount of time. Because as a franchisepreneur, the wealth is going to be created through scale, just like it is as an entrepreneur. The biggest difference in franchising is that in the 3 to 5 years, it may take an entrepreneur to iron out the model. In franchising, you're not figuring out anything. You're not ironing out anything. So in those same 3 to 5 years, you could get 3 to 5 locations up and running. And that's where the wealth is always going to be created. Wealth being defined as money and time, right? Rich people have money. Wealthy people have time to spend their money.
Awesome.
You are also working with people who already own franchises to help them expand both their mindset and their money. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So, Seth, what I believe makes me one of the top franchise consultants in the country is my focus on the mindset. And I'm going to back up and tell my story a little bit. So I was an average performing franchisee in my franchise, which is called FranChoice. And people don't get that because they think franchising means brick and mortar. No, there are franchises that are home-based consulting businesses, business to business sales businesses, which is what I'm invested in. And so for the first 8 years that I was here, I was an average performing consultant. And then 1 year later in 2011, I made history. I changed everything in the franchise consulting industry. So here's the thing. From 2010 to 2011, we were still in a recession. My franchise process has been the same since the day that I went to training on February 14th, 2002, all the way to today, 2024. It's the same. Everything outside of me was the same, but somehow I created two very different realities. I made over 350% more money in 2011 than I made in 2010 or any previous year. So what the heck happened? I shifted my mindset and it changed everything. And so when I did it, and then I perfected that, and I created a science around what I did. Other consultants started coming to me and saying, how do we have a business like Kim Daly? And I started sharing it. And then I decided, why not share it with my candidates? Because the difference between success and failure in a franchise is not a different franchise system. In the same franchise system, you have some people who are top performers, a lot of people who are average, and some people who struggle. Why? That's where my conversation with my candidates begins. And I need them to understand that success in this franchise is an inside job.
That's great. How many different franchisors have you worked with over the years?
Oh my gosh. Hundreds, Kevin. Hundreds,
Oh,
right?
wow.
Like a lot of brands we've sold out. We get new pioneering brands. A lot. the companies in my inventory have been with me for 20 years. They're just not like rocket ship companies. They just grow at steady paces of 20, 30, 40, maybe 50 franchisees a year, but they have lots and lots of territory. They could grow to like maybe 1,000 or 3,000 units. So they stay with us year over year, hundreds. And we have 2
Nice.
annual conventions a year where we all get together. And since I've been around for 20 plus years, it's college reunion when we get together in January and July. See, these are like, we've been together, a lot of these people. And what's funny about franchising, Kevin, is it's very incestual. Once you get into our universe, you typically don't leave. So let's say that you're a development person for a brand and then you sell out all the territory. That's bad for job security, right? So you got to go find another sales job. But typically they go and find another sales job in franchising because our industry is such a unique environment. It's unlike anything that anybody else really experiences, especially in corporate America, because everybody here supports everybody else. There will be competitors at a best practice session at an industry event, like 2 senior care companies on the same panel sharing what they do. Like, where else do you see that happening?
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
It is
Awesome.
Well,
Okay.
we know your time is incredibly valuable, Kim. We greatly appreciate you spending some of it with us. For our viewers and listeners who want to learn more about growing their wealth through franchising or growing the franchises they've already have, where is the best place for us to send them?
Okay, so definitely go to my website, thedalycoach.com. That's DALY. I've got a little quiz that you can take to see how fit you are to own a franchise. But if you're an information junkie, look, I have over 800 videos on YouTube at kimdaly.tv. So either place will lead you back to me if and when you're ready for me to be your daily coach.
Awesome. This has been Seth Greene for Sharkpreneur with Kevin Harrington and Kim Daly of thedalycoach.com. Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening. We'll talk to you or see you next time.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.